All right. Welcome everyone to chainEDGE workshop number 3. Uh, okay, looks like everything's set up good. So we're going to go over how to use chainEDGE, or at least how I use it for some of the newer people. But as always, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll answer them as we go. And then I'll also talk about some of the new stuff that's in here now, um, as well as some of the new features that will be um, rolling out over the next couple of weeks. So if you're not aware, chainEDGE, programmatically takes the highest P&L traders across all the major chains, and we clean all of their blockchain data to give you just swaps, because I personally think, and I think most people would agree, that all other blockchain data, if you're just trying to copy people and come up with the best ideas in the world, there's an echo for some reason. There's not much I can do. Someone's saying I have an echo, but I don't really know what I can do to fix it. So we clean blockchain data and then stream it to you in just swaps, and no one else really does it this way, especially across all chains, which we think makes this a pretty compelling offer for anyone. So there's a couple ways you can use it, and it comes down to what you're looking for. Okay, thank you, chat. So you can use it for new launches. I know some people do. Um, so there's not that many tools in here right now, but in the alpha stream, this data is now basically live with no latency. So if you're looking for new launches, the easiest way to find new things going on is looking through here. You can look at specific wallets that are good at new launches. This guy is obviously one of them. We'll go through his wallet in a second. But I kind of went over this in one of the other streams. Is I like to think about it in terms of a barbell, and we're actually coming off of that. We're actually going to build a dashboard for it. But like, you have to think about what data is behind the screen, and then how can you most effectively use that data, right? We're not looking to do like on-chain sleuthing here, right? You're trying to basically use this as like, it's almost like your Twitter, except it's everything in here is going to make you earlier to token ideas than Twitter, right? Because this is literally a live stream of what everyone's actually doing, not what they're talking about, right? It's almost like you get to look at their poker hand. So how do I use it? And I'll go through the barbell strategy. I typically like to, filter and see what's kind of leading the way. And I especially clicking the no stables filter, which is pretty helpful. Especially on the 1 day, there's usually, when you look through these, once you start looking for a little bit, you'll see certain things that kind of are outliers, like magic, right? I haven't seen inflows to magic in a long time. They're probably buying ahead of the, there's like an emerging narrative for gaming tokens ahead of some Google announcement or whatever. But, you could look into that and think, oh, what else is that wallet buying? You can look into it. I mean, if you look at the chart on here, I venture to guess that there hasn't been any buys in Magic in a long time. So it's kind of interesting, right? So I'll go over the barbell and then also how you can audit wallet. So To me, you're trying to find the people that trade ETH the best and what they're doing. So like the typical way, like the high level way to do it is just watching stable flows and ETH flows, but those are imperfect. So we're actually building basically a dashboard that will replace this as the homepage that splits, because now that we have Dex P&L, right? This guy crushes it. Which also nobody has. This is pretty cool. Um, we have the actual P&L run, realized P&L for almost any wallet as long as it's not a Mev bot. We can run it. Um, we're patching a couple issues with the queries. That'll be fixed in just the next couple of days. But this is, I know I'm going in reverse order, but this is like the easiest way and the best way known to me on the market to analyze, is this wallet smart money? Like 9 times out of 10, every wallet people say is, check out this smart money, they're doing X, they're doing Y. It's like, you can't believe them. They're if it's on Twitter, they could be just talking their book, trying to get you to buy some token. If it's tagged as smart money somewhere on like Nansen, you actually have to go look into their sub tags and see even why it's smart money, right? Like it actually could be a smart wallet because they're really good at minting NFTs. So if they're buying something on Arbitrum, do you really care? I don't know. Probably not. Versus, a wallet like this is obviously worth paying attention to. It's been a very good 30 days for them. Uh, but please know, and I've written a lot of emails about this wallet in particular. This is the guy that got blacklisted because he bought Pepe too early. I think he spent $27 and it turned into 8 million or something at the peak. But it's just to show you, you can put in any wallet, and as long as it's not crazy active like a Mev bot, we, actually display the underlying realized P&L data. We're going to add more stuff to these trade analytics, like average win ROI and average loss ROI to get a better sense, like almost breaking apart the win rate. So it's almost a slugging percentage. But so thinking about this, right? Like, what are these persons good at? They snipe new launches. That's why they're able to get these kind of returns. You will not be able to copy trade this person by hand and have the same level of success. So those of you that even have wallet alerts, like email alerts set up on a wallet like this, it probably doesn't even really help you. You can just watch the alpha stream, and this is why the alpha stream is cool, because instead of going to his wallet, seeing everything he's doing, you can just type in his address or just part of his address. You can see everything he's doing, everything he's bought, what's going on. Okay, but the idea that we're kind of pushing forward right now, once we patch the Dex P&L issues that we're having right now, is so this page is just general flows, right? So every number is net buys plus net sells, right? And it's meant to give you a sense of what is going on. But it's a lot of data, and some people can get lost in it, right? And so how can we optimize this? We're going to, once the P&L is finished, we're going to look at where people are making their P&L. Yeah, I'm going into it. Well, no, so alerts won't help a lot. I'm saying on this particular wallet. So someone had a question: if alerts don't help, what's the way to use chainEDGE to find plays? There's tons of ways. The whole thing is trying to tell you how to find plays. I'm saying for this particular wallet that it makes a ton of money, you need to have an actual bot to copy trade them. But there's like, it's all plays, right? Like all of these wallets. I mean, we're in process of improving them. But the whole thing is telling you plays, right? Because these are all buys. There's nothing else. Like if you think about what we spent all of our time doing, it was cleaning data to make sure that we have all swaps, which actually takes a lot of time and getting it right and cleaning spoofs and stuff like that. So, the easiest way, I guess, we'll go into just finding ideas. So if you're looking for like new launch stuff, you could be looking in the alpha stream. We're also going to have like a new launch dashboard where you can filter by token contract age. And then we're going to bring in a couple APIs to like give you like a rug risk score. So you'll basically have instantly live data of what the smartest new launch people are buying, which ones look like they're not going to be rugs, and then there's just going to be a dashboard alone separate just for that. But if you're looking just for general ideas, the easy way is you go no stables filter. Or if you have a particular chain, like if you're dealing with a smaller portfolio value and you don't want to go to ETH, and the only other place where anything happens is Arbitrum, you can go right in here, like what are people buying today? It's like ARB, Magic, Ramses, everything else is kind of small. You can filter for 7 days. It's like ARB, GMX, and I actually wrote about this last week. There's actually, here, this is a good example actually. So let's click GMX. So this is like an example of the power of the platform, right? Because you see a smart money flow into GMX. You're like, okay, let me investigate it just for a hot second here. Oh, my streaming software is bogging me down. Let's give it 1 second. If you guys have questions in the chat, as always, drop them. I don't know why we can't load GMX. Looks like we'll just have to, okay, here we go. We're going to improve this chart a lot to show average entry and more volume bars of the net buys and sells, because I think this chart is a little ugly. But let's look at these GMX flows. And if you look back here, you see decent sized dollar amounts, like what's going on, who's driving the flows. And you can filter on the token page, right? You're on the GMX token page. Mutable capital, leading the way. It's like, oh, okay, I don't really know much about them. I've never really heard of them. It's like, well, you can click their wallet. Just give it a quick view. So I'll run the query now, and then we'll keep talking up. See how it's going to say. So pretty good win rate, decent ROI, a lot of P&L. Where does it all come from? GMX. They've been trading GMX successfully since November. With incredible entries and exited too early. And so, it's basically giving you another level deeper, because instead of saying, oh my gosh, smart money's buying GMX, it's like, oh, okay, but like, are they smart? Are they smart at GMX? Why are they smart? So, you look in here and say, okay, they are smart. They make money. It's the emoji means it's an institution. It's a fund. That's what these are for. All the emojis are meant to make it incredibly simple. And we're cleaning up some of them, but like right now there's only 3 emojis, which is ape, early ape. That means they are consistently in the top, it's less than 1%. The very top of people that are always interacting with early contracts and are profitable. The crown is top DEX trader. They make the most P&L, and these are just funds. Now, we don't delineate if the fund's smart or not. It's just supposed to be a data point saying, oh, this is what funds are buying. So even if a fund is like ARCA, don't believe the Twitter thread, that just got blown up on everything in 2022, they will still eventually show up in here, etc. I'll answer your question in a second there, chat. Okay. So that was an example of like how you could just quickly diligence. Okay, someone's buying GMX. They're smart. It's a fund. You could go and research and maybe Maybe they know something about the launch of synthetics is finally coming, et cetera. So maybe they're buying into a catalyst. Um, but like that's kind of the easy way to find a place. You just look for outliers, right? Especially if you see a token that you haven't heard of or haven't heard of for a long time, like we did that with Magic, right? Like once you're using the site every day, you kind of between that and like if you're using Twitter or you're in group chats or whatever, you'll kind of see things that stick out, and you're like, huh, I haven't really seen flows into something like that in a long time. And you can also just see things that are like kind of dead money, like uh, rebate dopex, where I'm a bag holder. But anyway, so taking that example where we went through this, right? They're buying GMX, they're good at GMX. We're going to, this dashboard will stay the same, but we're going to make another dashboard to replace it as the home page, which is going to take all of the best ETH and majors traders, so all of, however they're swapping into ETH and all the big L1s and L2s. Who has the most P&L, highest hit rate, who is obviously smart with those, with realized profits, right? Because we're looking more for traders because it's easier for us to use them as informational value, not people that just bought ETH at 200 and maybe they sold some at 4,000. It's decent, but like how's that going to help us today? So rather, we're going to have a home page that takes, it's basically going to mimic the barbell that I talked about in the last workshop. So it will have the best majors traders and what they're doing on majors only, right? So you're basically pairing the P&L data of where they're making their money to the tokens where they're good at making that money. So you'll have the smart ETH and majors traders and what they're doing in those tokens. And that's going to give you a sense of market direction because we have seen that the smartest ETH and whatever traders outside of random events like Luna exploding and FTX imploding, they're pretty good at market direction. And we have some other stuff in the works too. But given the market is PvP, market direction is very important, right? So knowing that a lot of people are saying, oh, we're buying the dip in ETH, we think there's going to be like a turn, that's important. Same thing going a level down, we're going to have like 100 million market cap to a billion market cap range where you're pairing again P&L data with, P&L, the traders that have high P&L in that bucket, and then what they're doing within that bucket. And that'll get you more like fundamental plays, like if they're buying Thena, they're selling Thena, they're buying Radiant or Camelot, things like that. And that's kind of like your mid-capper, more fundamental basket. We'll do a basket below that that's like, 10 to 100 million, which is kind of, can be fundamental, but it's also just like undervalued kind of ideas. And then the new launch bucket, and the new launch bucket will have an entirely separate dashboard anyway. So I think that'll be really cool because it'll be helpful to take this page and basically augment it so that it's even faster to get up to speed on what's going on. Because like if all the flows are negative across all those buckets, everyone's kind of running for the hills. You'll be able to see kind of flows across the three buckets, and especially if you start seeing more and more inflows and buy activity in the lower market cap buckets, then risk is kind of coming on. So let's answer this question real quick, and then we'll move on. What gives you conviction to buy? So personal favorite is something like this when, like this kind of chart, I know our charts are ugly, but the premise is what typically gets me excited is a bottom in a token, almost formed by our smart traders. So it doesn't matter. I don't really care about the number of traders. It depends if it's like brand new or not. If it's like a brand new token and there's only one person buying it, I don't really think it's that interesting. I think I usually look for something like 5 buying it. But kind of comes down to what you're looking for. So like a couple days ago when 4 was launched, like I don't have time to be on Twitter all day. So I miss things. And so like the nice thing about this is when 4 launched, there was just a mountain of inflows coming in when the token launched. I think this is a scam one, but this is the real one, 5.7. And so like, we were lit up. Like we had a lot of people buying very early on. And it was like, huh, what's this about? And then you look at Twitter, it's like, oh, they're launching this coin. And obviously it did really well. And I find myself using it for that or for things that you can also use it to protect yourself. So like if I know some people in the Discord, like we were farming Chronos, and actually Chronos is another example where the token was kind of going down only because of farming emissions, and eventually, you like a bottom was clearly formed again in the chart. For some reason, the token pages are running slow, but I'll show it. Or even Lotus. Lotus is another good example of a new launch. Like basically, whenever you see a token that like I've never heard of that token, it means there's something up. And obviously, look, I mean, there's a lot of flows into White Lotus. So you can find those either in here if you just filter no stables and then just start looking through, or you can filter by chain. Um, and there's not like a certain dollar value to me that gets me excited. I know some people have asked for like a dollar value to market cap, but that's only going to be helpful on new launches because for anything else that's like even some of these things like Rivet that are decent sized market caps now, like it's going to be laughably small because our trader set is like very small, right? Like a couple thousand people. So even though maybe the dollar amounts look low, it's still money leaving their wallet. They are spending money to trade in some of these tokens. On the flip side, you can look for things like this. You can like you're just trying to follow like the momentum, like what's going on. Like people bearish Pepe, a lot of outflows on ETH, Grail outflow, net outflows only, Ape. So it's also just you could use it to help you on that side and say, man, like I own something and the flows have been nothing but outward. And then you can even look at who's selling and look at their P&L, right? And then you kind of have a full view of like where's the market going here? And obviously smart money is not always right, but the hope is streaming them all together like this helps you find ideas that you haven't seen or see something that you didn't know what was going on, whether it's a new launch or when everyone was jumping into Chronos. Once we have the kind of split dashboard here, it'll give you a better sense of like macro direction, which plays are getting attention in certain market cap buckets, etc. Another cool feature is, let's say you're using the alpha stream, but there's a lot of, there's new launches that show up in here, like Bambi. You can actually use the transaction size filter and say, okay, these wallets are pretty smart. Like I want to see transactions where only 50 grand and up is being put to work. And then you see something like this, like Gala. It's like, okay, probably buying ahead of, the kind of gaming catalyst I talked about. Let's find another good one. Like LBR. I don't know if that one's made a comeback, but then, you can use this filter for transaction value to also kind of augment this because this is like the coolest thing because you can basically like you're getting a live search of basically our data and you can augment it by address, tokens, chains, whatever. And so I mean if you spend like even just 20 minutes a day on here, you'll find ideas that you might have not found being on Twitter all day, and you're hopefully finding them before other people are talking about it or when kind of everyone stopped talking about it. Let's go back and look at my Chronos example real quick. Yeah, so like back here, there's actually quite a lot of buys. And funny enough, they kind of, I mean, I don't know if they formed the bottom, right? But it looks that way when there's a number of smart money wallets. You can even see the transaction values in our chart, form the bottom, and we're getting in around 33 cents. And then, the token actually pumped back to 42 cents in a hurry. So I've seen people have success when a chart kind of goes into a, almost look like an accumulation kind of pattern going on, and the whole bottom of the chart is just painted with smart money buying it. But it's also tough right now, right? Like I don't want to lie about the market. Like it still hasn't been as good as it was earlier in the year. But there's still definitely things that get lit up and whatnot. As always, if anyone has questions, drop them in the chat. So I went through one of the things we're going to build once we finalize DEX P&L. The other thing is we're going to build a leaderboard. So it will show, I think we'll just do it for 30 days, but maybe 180. Maybe we'll do it for 6 months. So it will, take not only our smart wallets, right? Because you can run these P&L queries on any wallet. It will take all of the P&L data, put it into a leaderboard, so you can quickly see just like, okay, who's made the most money over the last 6 months? And then, you can add them to my wallets. You can set up alerts on them. You can, like just by clicking alerts and putting in whatever minimum dollar value you want in the address. And I think our alerts are cool. And we'll roll out Telegram soon enough. Is again, they're only swaps. So if you've ever set up alerts on a pretty active wallet, between all the transfers and lending activity and LP and stuff like that, it can be overwhelming. So having alerts that are just swaps is pretty helpful as well. So we're going to have where's my P&L page? Oh, I lost it. So we'll have our leaderboard. We'll have the kind of cohorts and splits I talked about. And then the about uses, wallets for building. Yeah, so you're really looking for, so they're asking, what about uses and wallets for building kind of longer term positions? So you're kind of looking for things like my GMX example, right? So I mean, you have to dig around a little bit, right? And because you're going to be taking mid to long term hold positions, you're obviously doing a little bit more research. So you're trying to basically pair your style and strategy to a wallet that seems to have the same strategy and is good at it. So one, you're going to be looking only for more fundamental tokens. And if you're looking for stuff like that, it doesn't need to be in the alpha stream because the alpha stream has like brand new data. You don't really care about that, but you can use this, go no stables, and look for projects that people are accumulating because and we'll actually roll this out too on the actual wallet pages, average hold period, which will also help you pair your style to a strategy. So if I can find my here we could actually use our magic example. So we're on the magic page, and you can, I'm probably moving too much, get out of here. So there's the big buy, I think it's this guy, right? But yeah, I mean, long story short, you're trying to find, it's not just a new launch only tool or meme coin only tool, and that's not the way I intended it. You're really looking for, okay, so like look at this guy. He doesn't have that much contract age. So the guy that's buying magic obviously doesn't look like an amazing trader, right? So that's going to kind of make you take pause, but you need to run it for a longer period. And because we're patching a few things I can't hear right now, but you'll be able to very soon. Um, but also, if you're just in here and going no stables, most of the big flows, if it's not a meme coin, usually they're taking kind of longer term positions. So things like Arbitrum. I mean, I haven't seen inflows in Phantom for a long time. Um, maybe Ramses, because you're obviously looking for more fundamental projects unless you want to long term hold something like Pepe or Pangu or Ribbit into the bull market. Who knows? Thina. So, I guess it kind of depends, right? But you're going to have to build your own confidence into the projects that you want to hold. This is more just trying to help you not be a bag holder, because speaking from experience, there's certain, you get biased once your money's in there and you've done all your research and you think this is a really good idea. And then, if you use a tool like this, you just see, oh, the smart money's been bailing and they're bailing. And you end up just with dead bags and no one cares about the project because either they lost trust, they lost momentum with the community, whatever. And so that's how I kind of view using the tool is you're trying to find the ideas that smart money still cares about or they have renewed interest in. Um, and then, you can match it to your style. So if you're looking for longer term holds, you're obviously not going to want to be doing this super degen stuff like Ben or Pangu or Ribbit, unless you're really high on the risk scale. But things like Arbitrum, for sure, smart money. I mean, they've been net sellers over the last 30 days, but over the last 7, they've actually put quite a bit to work. We saw one really good GMX trader putting money to work. So it depends, but also because there's enough traders in here, if you keep using the site over the next 6 months or however long it takes for the market to improve, you'll also see it in here. You'll kind of feel the change in whatever, even if you're holding the token or you're looking for the token. It's not real hard to spot outliers just using the filters and looking for things that are, that aren't always in here. So that kind of answers your question, Jaguar. But if you have follow-ups, I'll take them. And then another thing to actually help with that and the other dashboard we're building is, so there's a lot of coins in here, right? And it's a lot of noise and you have to kind of filter through it. But one of the things that we're going to do is tag each of these tokens into a category, right? Gaming, lending, L1, right? And then basically build a narrative god dashboard. So it'll be all of these flows by narrative. And then we'll actually eventually show you other projects that Smart Money isn't even buying yet, but that have rising TVL over X amount of time in that narrative. And so then that's another way, maybe narratives are a little shorter term focused, but I think that's another cool way to find potentially longer term holds. Um, so like if perp dexes start picking up steam again, and you're like, oh, like I already own some of that, like that kind of confirms my thesis, stuff like that. And I think that's actually going to be a really cool dashboard because but between those two changes, it kind of takes this page, which has, it takes a little bit of time to kind of figure out what you're learning from it, and it will quickly bring you up to speed on like where the best ETH traders are directing their money within ETH. What are the mid cap people doing? What are the small cap doing with small caps? And then what are the narrative flows? What narrative is having emerging money roll into it? Whether it's AI coins, real world assets, options, dexes, perp dexes, etc. So I think that will be a really cool addition. And both of those views or cuts of this data are not very hard for us to do. but two, no one else really does it. And that's kind of like the name of the game. Like the core engine you see here is just kind of the building blocks for everything else we're going to build, right? So if you're ever looking at it and feel underwhelmed, know that we're just going to keep shipping. Like if you've been around since the beginning, you know that we've materially improved the site between the UI, making it a lot cleaner, or the site was slow. We've already done a lot of work to improve the wallets. You can now query DexPNL for any wallet. So I think over the next couple of months, it's going to be even better. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, there's not that many of you, but I think I've covered most of the stuff I wanted to. If not, I'll just keep rambling. But yeah, I mean, like I always get asked, like, how do I use it? And it's like, well, what are you looking for? Like, if you're just looking to throw money into new launches, like you basically want to just audit new launch wallets. And if you don't want to go follow guys like this that are robots, you're kind of looking for early apes. Okay, I'm glad to say someone that this was helpful. Thank you. Um, you can look back through different launches and build out like like we can't do all the work for you, right? So like there's some people that it's just like we're trying to bring you like 90% of the way there, and then you just have to apply the last 10% to how you want to use the site, what you're looking for. Like I can't do that for you. But like if you're looking for newer launches, once we have the new launch dashboard, I think it's going to be a lot easier. But like I think some people literally just sit and watch the alpha stream. Buy someone with smaller starting capital, especially given high gas. Oh, so that's what I started with. If you haven't been following me for a while, so someone's asking how to get started with a small amount of capital. None of this is financial advice. So I luckily, yeah, that's a good suggestion there, Hawk. Especially if Arbitrum picks up some speed again, or some momentum rather. But what I would do is, you can either use our smart money wallet to build your own wallet list, but find people that are good at new launches. Yes, praise stories. Yeah, I mean, it was a good time to do it. It was in May of 2021. I was starting with a pretty small amount of capital, and I was just throwing like one ETH into every new launch, which back then ETH was worth a lot of money, like $3,000 or $4,000. And by like the third or fourth one, it was a 30 bagger. And market's not easy like that anymore. But you know, my piece of advice would be one: when we have the new launch dashboard up and running, it'll be more helpful because it'll include like the contract score from D.Fi. We're going to try to build some of our own scores so that you're getting new launch data, but it's scrubbed to try to remove scams and rugs. But like the two biggest things are, one, don't listen to what anyone says on Twitter, because they'll say, oh my gosh, this wallet made so much on Pepe. Like, here's what they're buying now. It's like, it's probably bullshit. Like they were early to Pepe or they got lucky. Like we've analyzed a lot of the Pepe gains of, the wallets, and 9 times out of 10 is like they were either, I mean, like, our one bot, this guy obviously got in, but he apes everything and he crushes it. But like, it's not a renewable source of trying to make you money. Like they hit an outlier. Yes, sex traders, 100%. So we're going to stream in. Let me finish my thought for the first question. I'll come back to that one. If you're starting with that low of capital too, I actually wrote a really good post about this on my newsletter, which is about like the hustle, right? Because the market is not very kind to even new launches. I mean, like the meme coins kind of flared up. I feel like they're losing steam now. Um, like another easy way to try to multiply it and get a little bigger is hustling private sales, especially private sales that aren't garbage. I wrote about one today in the paid newsletter that I think is pretty good. There's also airdrop opportunities in that one, which are pretty good. But for using this tool, you basically want to, run P&Ls and build out a wallet list, or wait for us to build out the new launch dashboard, which isn't going to take very long. Um, and then just pick your spots. Like, don't throw your whole portfolio into just one thing. But you still need to have some amount of concentration, right? So if you have 10,000, um, once you feel like you have a good process in place, it actually, before I started the spray and pray, I actually did like a paper portfolio where I would literally write down, okay, I would have bought Cum Rocket at this price, and then Cum Rocket ended up being an absolute monster. And if I would have just bought it, I would have crushed it. Um, but like almost journaling out like your thought process and seeing if you're any good at it, and if show that you think you have a decent process going on between using chainEDGE. You found some wallets either that are ours or yours that are consistently early to things, which like the other easy way to do that is you just search early ape, because they're all tagged as early ape, and you can see everything they're doing. And so some of these are not bots, and they just interact early. And then basically you just don't want, then you just look at whatever they're buying. And because this is live data, you're actually getting, so like if we look at this guy, you can actually kind of, you could go into his wallet page, look at his swap history in comparison to the contract age, and also how often he swaps, and see if it's a bot. And if it's not, and it's someone you think you can, you have the time to follow. Yeah, see, they ape a lot of things too. They're probably a bot. And they got, but see, they've got some wins too. So, right. So, you could just creep around in the, like this gives you a whole different dashboard just searching early ape, right? And you can see everything they're buying. Because they hit it on like a meme coin, you need to be early. Like, it's very important that you're buying at a really tiny market cap, because like 300K market caps can go to 3 million all the time, but the odds of a 3 million going to 30 is quite lower. Like on my first meme coin that I hit really big, I think I bought 1% of the token supply at like a 400K market cap. But you can also DM me on Discord or Twitter, or email me, and I'm happy to kind of see how I can help, or even try to build you a strategy within chainEDGE. Next question, non-chain traders also plan 100%. So we're going to integrate the Binance high P&L traders, and that'll be an entirely separate dashboard too. And that's like a whole nother thing. Like, I haven't really seen a lot of tools do both, and we don't really care. Like, the idea is this is like your home for what smart people are doing. So we don't delineate by it just has to be on-chain data. We just want people to make money. And so, yeah, well, it's still in process, because I have to figure out, the way you stream the data is going to be a lot different, right? Because you're not swapping, and they have perps and leverage and liquidation prices. But it will function something like this, except like those traders are obviously, a lot of them have a lot higher P&L than these on-chain people, just as a function of liquidity. So that'll actually be pretty cool too. And that's planned. I think it won't take us that long to build it out. I mean, we've already started building it, but I don't think it will take us too long to finish it. But that's also more helpful for kind of market direction and big tokens, because you're not going to be catching it 30x trading. I guess you could if you used enough leverage, but uh, it's a little bit harder to hit, some of the crazy returns trading what the Binance high P&L people do. But yes, that is in the works as well. Um, yeah, and then we have like there's other stuff coming into our premium dashboard, which is like stealth wallets. So like there are people that are consistently profitable in crypto and they don't even want you to know it. Like our Oxa AF guy is an outlier that he doesn't change his wallet ever. And so, we can just run his wallet, realize P&L, and say, damn, he's pretty good. But a lot of people don't do that. And so the premium subcategory will have stealth wallets, which shows you, it'll function exactly the same, except it'll just be brand new, fresh wallets just funded over X amount of days. And then you can see their activity, which from testing it, is also a pretty decent source of alpha as well. Any other questions? As always, if there's ever features that you think would be helpful to you or ways to cut this data, reach out. But with that, I think we're finishing up. Yep, looks like no more questions. Okay, yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for hanging out on the stream. Hopefully you have a better sense of how to use chainEDGE, where we're going, what's going to be rolling out over the next couple of weeks. One more question here. How will you identify? Oh, no. So you're not labeling the fresh wallets because if they're funded from another smart wallet, it's easier to tag them, right? But 9 times out of 10, it'll be funded from some, they'll fund it fresh from an exchange or something. So actually, they're using the fact that they're fresh as the alpha, right? Because okay, a fresh wallet in isolation means nothing. 100 fresh wallets, um, all buying the same thing out of nowhere, it tells you a lot. There's something going on. So you're actually not scrubbing them for ROI or labels or anything like that. It'll actually be an entirely separate category, right? Because these are all our traders. We've scrubbed their data, we've audited them. It's going to get a lot better. But the stealth wallets will have their own page where it will look like this, but they're not going to have labels, and instead it's going to be, you can filter by really wallet age, and it'll actually look like this. But see, it's not going to have so many tokens because, like if you think about who sets up a fresh wallet, like it's either an institution or someone smart that just doesn't want people to know that they're buying something primarily. So you'll see a page like this, but there's you could make the argument pretty easily that whatever you see in this dashboard for just fresh wallets, that are a week old, and you scrub out stables and all the other kind of stuff where it's not that important. There's something going on there. There's something worth investigating. Um, so I think it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, you're not really analyzing their trading ability. You're saying, oh, well, they're fresh and they're smart, or they're funded by someone smart. Let's kind of watch what they're doing too. And so it'll be in its own separate dashboard because it'll just muddy this up too much, and it'll be premium. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. And Crocs, you can always DM me with any questions as well. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. That's kind of where we're going. And just one more note, as always, we do not want to be a general blockchain analytics thing. So if you want to go see how much ETH is staked by whoever, or who's the biggest staker of ETH and Lido. You can go find it in Dune. It's free. I don't care. I personally don't think that kind of stuff is going to help you make money. I think, speaking from experience and being in the space now for multiple years, watching wallets is still an easy way to see what's going on, and you just have to pick your spots and you can make money. And that's what we focus on. So we'll bring in all of this other stuff that is smart money, but we're never going to be like Arkham. Like if you want to go down the rabbit hole and try to connect, a wallet to Andrew Tate, you're not going to be doing it with our tool. Like our tool is optimized for people that want to trade crypto, not trying to go dox a wallet or, find different connections. I think maybe we have the ability to do that, which is somewhat interesting when there's like a high, like something like bubble maps, but we could actually even just as easily integrate with bubble maps. So anyway, I'm rambling, so we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. If you have any questions, reach out to me on email or Twitter or Discord or Telegram. So thank you.